Are you afraid that you might have to work for a living?
Well, someone has to work for your socialist retirement. I think the mistake that a lot of charter schools and public schools are following is the myth that a greater number of school days and formal assessments are more likely to boost academic achievement. There are studies that support and disprove this practice. What students need more practice with is the application of knowledge, putting their academic skills to work for them. For teens, it means working in the real world either with a summer job or internship. For younger students, it means time to explore the world with literacy and camp, getting out of the house and away from the TV and computer. Most importantly, summer is a time when parents and children reconnect. More students today live in single-parent homes than ever, and some are even more important for families. As Raquel and you know, parents can have the greater influence on a child's education than teachers if they're willing to make the commitment to engage in their child's education.
John, the US spends more on pupils than any country in the world, but I recently read we are rated only 37th. More money won't help. What is it then? Do we need more school days? Do we need better pupils with responsible parents that will support their children and provide a lot more discipline? Do we need better teachers that are selected from the tops of their graduating class, like Singapore, instead of the bottom 1/3 like the US, and have tough standards and evaluation of the teachers? You tell me and spare the BS.
Funny you put a picture of George Bush on Facebook. Why do we spend so much more money on education than anyone else? Is it teachers? No. Is it better facilities? No. It is textbooks. When George W. Bush signed No Child Left Behind into law in 2000, it created a huge business opportunity for textbook publishers to profit. NCLB guidelines demanded that schools update their textbooks with the most current and accurate information. This mandate created a guaranteed market for textbook publishers, many of which helped Bush become president. Neil Bush, brother, and William Bennett, former drug czar under Bush Sr., also profited from NCLB and got in the book business too. What a windfall for them. Some of the large print textbooks I deliver to my students can cost between $1,000–$2,000. Like US Pharma, US textbook publishers gouge their native markets because politicians accept PAC money and create a market with very little competition. Oh, I spared the B's and earned a BA instead.
John, I look at your profession and realize that the loop you are in probably one look inwardly for the solution. So, textbook prices are the cause of our educational ills. And it's George Bush and the Bush family fault, of course, and I'm sure Dick Cheney is to blame here too. The teacher unions are the #1 contributor to the Democratic Party, so they are protected. For now anyway. I single quote am sure Braille books are expensive anywhere, and the money that we spend on special needs children is another issue with many inefficiencies. Of course it is. It's run by public schools. Perhaps the teachers' union could take the bold step in speaking up on tradespersons programs in high school. I fear that will never happen, as the teaching ranks are filled with low-performing individuals who were recipients of affirmative action and diversity programs, and these teachers would see individuals of their own groups filling the trade schools without the college hope. I would have loved to have a BA also, but I was asked to leave home at the tender age of 18, not 30-something, and had no one else to feed me or house me or pay for my college. A shame for someone who qualifies for Mensa, don't you think? The unfortunate thing about my era was that affirmative action was solely based on race, not income, as it is supposed to be in California now. Extra monies and positions are available for the less qualified, quietly. This country in general will continue to decline unless we push our best minds upward instead of letting many fend for themselves while at the same time trying to raise the dregs to their level. It's a waste of resources. Well, I'm glad to know that high textbook prices and those damn Bushes are to blame for our crumbling public school system.
I vote nonpartisan for a reason. I don't want to be a puppet of the Republican or Democratic Party and spout the slippery slope generalities of Rush Limbaugh, Glenn Beck, and Larry Elder. I've incurred a large debt, think 5 Series BMW, in S. Jewel loans to pay for my education. I've made life decisions that would allow me to go to school and continue my education. Mensa is overrated. Besides, I'm currently going to school with people older than you who want to improve on their job skills and knowledge. They have found a way to go back to school instead of using their energy for saying why they never went to college. Many people in my program have family members who have disabilities and want to work in special education to improve upon service for students with special needs. If your sons are in GATE or looking to pursue AP classes, they receive support from special education. I welcome you to solve the U.S. education inequality. As teachers, we run the front line. It is hard to get an entire view of the battlefield. But I still poke my head up and try.
I mean, despite our limited income, we give financially directly to our schools. I'm an assistant wrestling coach, a Solar Cup coach for Lee's science team. I'm the mentor for all 30 of Poly High's Solar Grand Prix teams. I volunteer or fundraising for the PACE program at Lee's High School. I actually use my own out-of-pocket money for transporting and feeding some of Lee's classmates in these activities. I've also been privy to info, like Poly transferring money from the Chinese program given by the federal government to help promote trade with China to Hispanic visa programs. Illegally, that upsets me. And I am still mean. I love you, John. This is how I try to solve the education problem, at least with my children and their classmates.
I wish more parents would actively participate in their children's education. Education should be looked upon as a privilege that can have lifetime benefits. There are so many parents who don't spend time with their kids and their education. There are parents who don't regularly read with their children, help their children with homework, or even ask about the subjects their children are learning. Some parents are satisfied with one question: how's school? And stop there. If parents reason that they are unable to get involved with their children's education because they are too busy or the school work is beyond their ability, then they fail to make an honest attempt. I was working today at an elementary school in Compton where a first-grade teacher was discussing the challenges of her classroom. 8 of the 22 students are in foster care. She lost 3 students over the winter break after they returned to their families. Some of these kids are ESL, some are English first language. She has no classroom aides and she appreciates any help she can get. As hard as we try as educators in the classroom, it is almost impossible to make up for lost learning opportunities when the child's home life is chaotic and inconsistent. Chances are, many of these students will follow a life poverty paved by their parents. As a teacher, I'm willing to defy the odds and bet on a long shot that some of these kids will be successful and contribute greatly to society. I know, it's a long shot, but I'm a teacher. A teacher has to be optimistic or else we're dead in the water. If we don't show all children that education is important, we will all fail. Not everyone will be a chemical engineer, but we need to model to kids that education is important by actively learning with our kids as parents and teachers. Inclusive education creates animosity. However, offering a variety of educational opportunities is essential. Steve and Rachel, we need to have parents like yourselves who work with teachers and educators to create and maintain educational opportunities. If you don't believe in an aspect of education, discuss it with the teachers. But please, be civil and do your research.
John, we've solved the educational dilemma now, haven't we? Parental responsibility. In one of Lee's wrestling rooms, out of 28 boys, 3 live with both parents. The remainder live with either one or no parents. I strongly believe social engineering and lack of placing legal and enforced responsibility on parents cause this. I also don't like how educational institutions and even the legal system gives Bubba a break because of the way he was raised. That tarnishes the outcomes of a traditional family-raised child and the hard work parents do for these children. I know it's not fashionable to place blame, and some believe that it's fine for the state to be the baby daddy, but we see the results, don't we? I have a good if not great rapport with all of the boys' teachers, and I'll tell you, several put in a lot of their personal time and open their homes up to kids. These teachers are saints. Chen and I have both gone around with administrators though and have yielded good results. Second wrestling room opened up at Poly so boys and girls have a proper place to practice instead of outdoors in the dirt, helping 70 children. Solar Cup boat building and racing program reinstated, helping 35 children. Initiating the Solar Grand Prix program, helping 120 children, opening up the Mandarin Chinese language program up to PACE students, helping 80 children. This is what two pushy parents got done in less than a semester, and the cost to the school was $0. But some wonderful teachers had to take over loads of children in class or put in many hours of their personal time and some time donated by pushy parents.
Within the last, I've seen successful schools and failing schools. The difference between successful and failing is parental involvement. I hate when parents complain about volunteering and saying that teachers need to work harder. Parents who involve themselves don't just help the school and teachers, it sets an example for kids to follow. The idea that to better our lives for our family is to better the community around us. Steve, this is what your wonderful teachers understand and what you have learned as an involved parent. I'm glad that you're proactive in extracurricular activities.